Hey guys, welcome back to Diesel, where today we are going to upgrade the headlights on the TJ from these stock sealed beam headlights to these performance Jeep LEDs that came stock on JKs from years I'll tell you all about. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so this thing is coming up on, it's 20 years old this year actually, 2001. So from 97 to 06 when they made these things, headlights were pretty abysmal unless you bought an Audi, probably a BMW, something like that, that came with the HIDs. But since then, we have made leaps and bounds in lighting technology, namely LEDs. So starting in 2016, you could get these Jeep Performance LEDs in your JK. And it just so happens that the JKs originally started with something very similar to this. But throughout the entire run of the JKs, they all share the same mounting points. These three little tabs or pockets or whatever. So, turns out JK headlights are a direct bolt into your Jeep. I waited until 2021 to do this, and in the last 2 years of the JK, they came out with this new option. I think they had some LEDs before, but these are pretty cool. They've got one big solid LED for the middle. They've got three bottom for the high beams, so they're really bright. I'm trying to get something that'll compete with the JL here. Best thing about them is they're super bright white, where these things are yellow. I'll show you that in a little bit. They're pretty cheap because they made a ton of JKs. So this one I found for $130 online. I think this one I paid about $150 online. Got them both off eBay. It's pretty great, and there's a ton of them out there because they made a ton of JKs. You can easily find them. And maybe the best thing about these lights is that you don't have to use any special adapters or harnesses, and I'll get into that a little bit. I love the look. They work perfect. They're OEM quality, so you know you're not getting some knockoff that's not going to last for many years. These things are going to run forever. They're going to give me great light, and I know they're a good product. So let's get into how we're going to swap them in. All right, so before we dive into this, I want to give you guys some good shots and comparisons of the TJ lighting, just to show you guys how poor it is, and then also the JL lighting, so then we can do a before and after. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have both the Jeeps in the garage, and we're going to turn the lights on, and then you're going to be able to look at the left side of the video where you can see Lisa's JL, and the right side of the video where you can see my TJ. And as you can see, there's a huge difference. The TJ is very yellow. I don't like the color at all. In the garage here, I have bright white LEDs. I think it's the best light for seeing at night, even though it's not super natural. And on the left, you can just see the JL. The JL is that perfect bright white light. It's focused very well. It's angled down so you're not blinding people. It's spotted well. Like I said, I keep referencing it. I just think this is one of the best factory lighting options you can get. All right, guys, so Jeep really did us a favor when they went from the TJ to the JK and they used the same headlights, because the TJ ran from 97 to 2006. Basically zero LED or HID lighting technology except for in premium vehicles. And the JK ran from 2007 to 2018. So over that time span, you went from probably something very similar to these sealed beams in the original JK all the way up to a pretty darn good LED light technology. Plus there's so many out there that aftermarket is going to support them, right? So these headlights are a direct bolt-in. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to take this bezel out, and there's some screws behind that to pop that out, and we're going to test fit this just to make sure that what I've seen online is true. Here's the old headlight out. Sealed beam. I'm gonna get this bucket off. I'm just gonna take those three screws off, and this whole bucket will come right out. And then the JK one should pop right in. Alright, so we hit a snag. Those bolts are seized from the front, so I'm going to try take these 3 nuts off from the back, take that hole out. Alright, so this comes out with these 3 on the back, and like I said, these are kind of seized. You can kind of see they're a little crusty, and that's what allows your JK headlight to bolt to, right? So I'm going to try and get those unseized, and we'll go from there. Actually, my bad. You don't need to unseize them. That's why that's a little 3-prong deal right there. It just pops on. So I'm going to pop those off. I made sure I lubed it up, so hopefully it slides over the tabs. Yeah, see? That one might give me a little trouble. All intact. There it is. So the new one will just pop on. We have a little bit of a clearance issue to get this to snap over right in there, if you can see. This little bump that sticks out for the mounting needs to be ground off. So I'm going to try and grind this down a little bit and get it to fit. Alright guys, so as I alluded to, one of the essential parts of this swap is some adapters. So if you look, these JK headlights have a different 3-prong connector than the TJs do. The TJs have just the old school. So I got these on Amazon. Of course, I'll put a link to these in the description of the video. I ordered them actually yesterday and they came today. So this plugs into the stock TJ harness, and then this plugs into the light, right? So we're going to give them a try. That goes on there. I'm going to take you. Over there. Now let's see how bright they are. Ooh, yeah. Not bad. So with this swap, one of the coolest things about this is if you buy for an older vehicle like this, a TJ, a lot of just the general, aftermarket LEDs you see on Amazon, eBay, wherever, you'll see, I hope I'm not shining this in the camera, you'll see like a lot of flickering, right? And then you need to get these anti-flicker harnesses and all this other BS. The Jeep headlights are made for just plugging right into the Jeep, so this must have whatever it needs inside it to run nice and pure. So that's pretty cool. These just plug right in with those adapters. I don't need any special anti-flicker harness, and I'm never going to have to worry about that misbehaving high beams, low beams with the Jeep, right? I mean, these things are made for a Jeep that's very similar to this, so you plug it in once and it's over. These are pretty much ready to go. I've got my harnesses. I clearanced my bracket like I showed you guys yesterday. So the last part on these is simply the fact that when people remove these from JKs, they just trash all the mounting holes. You guys have probably noticed that. I just haven't referenced in the video yet, because there's like a little push tab. You push this over, and then when you take it out, they just break, or people don't know how to take them out or whatever, right? So what I did was I had my friend Jim just 3D print me a little piece, and that little piece drops in the hole, kind of how you can see that, drops in the hole, and then that locates in there, and then the bolt locates in there. So now I just have some bolts threaded through with some lock nuts. So this is snug, but I can still spin the bolt to adjust. And then these 3 bolts are going to thread in where the original snap posts were. That this is what the TJs and the JKs had to snap the headlights onto. So all that's left now is just to put this up there, screw these in, and then I'll adjust it. And voila, one headlight installed. Alright, so everything looks good. I didn't adjust it yet because I want to get both headlights in, and then I'm going to compare them to the JL to adjust them. But I do want to test fit the ring, the beauty ring we'll call it. It goes that way so that you can adjust it. But wow, that looks really cool. Everything fits great. The headlight's solid. That's a pretty good way to fix those broken JL or JK tabs. I'm thrilled with that. Yeah, cool. So now let's do the other side, and then we'll adjust them and we'll test them out. I'm just gonna use my grinder, slap disc on it, or maybe a cut off wheel too if I have to. I'm gonna grind this guy down. You gotta take it pretty cool. It's kind of hard not to mess up the entire thing, but in the end it doesn't matter. But that's the type of clearance I'm talking about right there is what you need. Also, seeing as I broke one of these, this is a way better way to remove these, because that way you're not prying on this part you need. Just put a plier on the post on the bottom, squeeze out, pop right off. I broke some plastic, but this part is sacrificial to me. I don't need it. Snapped in, good to go. Dab of anti-seize. That bottom one always seems to seize for some reason. So now on this front one, I'm gonna tighten these 3 nuts up on the back, and then, or this driver's side one, I'm sorry, and then I'll adjust this one the same way. The three bolts that look like this. There's a small Torx head. I honestly like the 3D printed washers with the regular bolts better. I mean, it's just more effort to change this one. This one's fine. Because that Torx head, these get seized in there, and that Torx head you really can't spin. I know those hex head bolts I'll be able to spin no problem. So I'm gonna get this buttoned in, and then we'll turn it on, check them both out, and then we'll adjust them. Alright, that looks really good. So we got both headlights hooked up. They both work phenomenally. I'll show you the brights here in a second. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna aim them, and there's a lot of YouTube videos out there. This isn't a YouTube video on how to aim your headlights or adjust your headlights or whatever. What I'm gonna do though is I'm just gonna shine the JL lights on the wall behind you, and then I'm just gonna kind of match the TJ lights to that. I'm a little unsure of how to aim them left to right, but I'm gonna have to figure that out and do the best I can. You got some lumens. Alright guys, that's it for the install. I think they look pretty good. I'm pretty thrilled. Now I'm just gonna be counting down the hours till it gets dark, so we can take it for a test drive and aim it on the wall with the JL and see how they look. That looks great. As you guys can see, it's a pretty simple job. I'm pumped. I'm finally gonna be able to see at night. is it, the maiden voyage with the new headlights. I'm pretty thrilled. All in all, I was about $400 in on this project, and $40 of that was me being an idiot and breaking that bucket. Had to order a replacement for that. So I think this is really probably one of the greatest LED headlight swaps you could do to your TJ, or don't forget, they'd be a direct bolt-in swap to anyone with a JK out there, as they came from JKs. So it's pretty cool. That does it for episode 1 of Project TJL. If you guys think you can get into this series, or if you are into this TJ, make sure you subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the further it's going to go. On the next episode, we are going to tackle the rest of the lighting system with some LED upgrades. We'll look at tail lights, running lights, things like that. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, like I said. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Diesel with a JL. You can check out some of the other cool videos we have on the JL Eco Diesel as well. There's kind of more your style. Other than that, I'm going to play us out with some driving footage, and we'll see you guys next week.